Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In our last video, we've discussed about how to install and run Laravel application onto your local machine. And in today's lesson, we are going to explore the Laravel file structure. As you can see, after the installation of Laravel, you're going to be presented with a lot of folders and files and also subfolders. And as you can see, the first folder inside our Laravel project is the app folder. The app folder contains the core application code. It includes controllers, models, middleware, and other PHP classes that drives the application's logic. Let's go ahead and expand the app folder. There you will find the controller, which is located inside the HTTP folder, and inside controllers, and this is the controller, and you have the model and also the providers. The providers folder stores all of your app service providers file. Your app service providers files are responsible for registering and bootstrapping any of your application services. And you can also create your own app service providers. But we're not going to be talking about that for now, because the purpose of this lesson is to just, show you around and show you that this file do exist and you can use them later in the future. So what is the model? What is the controller? The models contains all of your eloquent models. We're not going to talk about much here. When we dive deeper into the more practical aspect in the future, you will understand better what models and controllers are. So the next folder is Bootstrap. This folder contains the files needed to bootstrap the framework and configure auto-loading. Things such as catch, app.php, and providers. And also, the next folder is the config folder. In this folder, configuration files for various aspects of the application, such as database connection, caching, and session settings, are stored here. So the next folder is the database folder. This folder contains database related files, including factories, migrations, and seeders. What is this factory? This factory folders house a factory PHP file that allows us to create a fake user info for testing, and the migration folder contains all of your database migrations. Database migration simply refers to your database table. Here you can create and maintain all of your database migrations. And then the next folder here, seeders, house a file that allows us to seed or populate our database with information for testing. So the next folder after the database folder is the public folder. This folder is actually the web server's document root and contains the entry point for all requests to your application, as well as publicly accessible assets such as images, CSS, and JavaScript files. So let's go ahead and expand it. And here you can store your publicly accessible files and assets that you can effortlessly access within your application. And the next folder after the public folder is the resource folder. This folder is one of the most crucial folders inside of your Laravel application because it contains views, language files, and assets such as CSS and JavaScript files that are used in the application. This view folder houses all of our application views. That's why it's very significant. So that's it for the view folder. And then the next folder is the route folder. What does the route folder house? In this folder, route definitions, which determine how URLs maps to application logic, are stored in this directory. And here inside the web.php, this is where all of our application routes have been defined. We're going to discuss in detail what routes are in the following lessons. So just know that the route folder holds the files where we define all of our application's routes. So that's for the route folder. And the next folder under the route folder is the storage folder. Laravel uses this directory or folder to store cache files, logs, and other files generated during runtime. It is also where uploaded files are typically stored. And then the next folder is test folder. Unit test and feature tests for the application are stored in this folder. And then the next folder is the vendor folder. This folder contains composer dependencies, including the Laravel framework itself and any other third-party packages used in the application. So we are done with the Laravel's folders. And if you come down here, you're going to see composer.json file. This is where any package we're going to be installing in Laravel is going to be registered. And the last but not least, which is the .env or environment variable file. The .env file stores environment specific configuration such as database credentials and application settings. If you take a look at the files, this is where we actually set our database configuration, and by default Laravel 11 uses the SQLite, but I'm going to show you how you can change it back to MySQL. All you need to do is change this from SQLite to MySQL and then uncomment the following line of code. Here you're going to specify your database name if you've created the database. So that is all for Laravel file structure. I hope you learned something and enjoy this lessons. And in the next lesson, we're going to talk about the Laravel CLI or command line interface. So with that being said, see you in the next one. Bye bye.